Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the USS Independence, watching the stars drift past the main screen. His ship had been traveling through space for 3 months now, searching for new worlds and life forms. The Independence was not a big ship, but it was strong and reliable. Jake trusted it with his life and the lives of his crew. "Captain, I'm picking up something strange on the sensors," said Ryan Collins from his station. Ryan was young but smart, and Jake had learned to trust his sharp eyes. The navigation officer leaned forward, studying his screen with a frown. Jake walked over to look at the readings. "What do you see, Ryan?" "There's a ship out there, sir. It's not moving. Looks like it might be dead in space." Ryan pointed to a small dot on his screen. "It's about 2 hours away if we change course." Lisa Bradley looked up from her engineering station. She was the best engineer Jake had ever worked with, always finding ways to fix things that should not work. "Captain, we should be careful. Unknown ships in empty space usually mean trouble." Amy Turner, their communications officer, turned in her chair. She was good with languages and had studied many alien cultures. "Sir, I'm not getting any distress signals from that ship. If they were in trouble, they would be calling for help." Jake thought for a moment. The Independence was on a peaceful mission to explore and learn, not to fight. But they could not just leave a ship floating in space if people needed help. "Set course for the unknown vessel, but keep our weapons ready, just in case." 2 hours later, the Independence came close to the strange ship. It was unlike anything Jake had ever seen. The hull was smooth and curved, made of some kind of metal that seemed to change color in the starlight. Strange symbols covered its surface, glowing with a soft blue light. "Captain, I'm getting life signs from that ship," Amy reported. "Looks like there are about 20 beings aboard. Are they human?" Jake asked. "No, sir. The readings are different. These are definitely aliens." Lisa whistled softly. "First contact." "This is big, Captain." Jake nodded. In all his years in space, he had never met an alien race. Earth had been searching for other intelligent life for centuries. Now they had found it, or it had found them. "Amy, try to contact them. Use the standard first contact protocols." Amy's fingers moved over her controls. "Broadcasting friendship messages in mathematics and simple pictures, sir." They waited. The silence stretched on for long minutes. Then Amy's screen lit up with activity. "Captain, they're responding. They're sending back mathematical sequences. And sir, they're using some of our language patterns. They learned fast." The voice that came through the speakers was strange, with odd clicking sounds mixed with words they could understand. "Human ship, we are the Zephyrian Collective. We come in peace. We wish to meet and learn." Jake felt his heart beat faster. This was the moment that would change everything for humanity. "This is Captain Jake Morrison of the human vessel Independence. We welcome peaceful contact with your people. Captain Morrison, we request permission to come aboard your ship. We have gifts to share and knowledge to exchange." Jake looked around at his crew. They all nodded. This was what they had come to space for. Permission granted. "We'll open our docking bay for you." The alien ship moved with grace, sliding up to the Independence like a fish through water. Jake and his crew went to the docking bay to meet their visitors. When the airlock opened, 5 aliens stepped through. They were tall and thin, with smooth gray skin and large dark eyes. They wore robes that seemed to shimmer and change color. The one in front stepped forward and made a gesture that might have been a bow. "I am Speaker Kylerin. We thank you for your welcome, Captain Morrison." "Welcome aboard the Independence," Jake said. "We're honored to meet you." The aliens looked around the ship with great interest. They asked many questions about human technology and culture. Jake was happy to answer. He showed them the bridge, the crew quarters, and the engineering sections. The aliens seemed impressed with human ingenuity, though they made comments that suggested their own technology was much more advanced. Your ship is interesting, Kylerin said as they walked through the engine room. Simple but effective. We appreciate such basic approaches to space travel. Lisa frowned at the word basic, but said nothing. The aliens stayed for 6 hours. They shared stories of their worlds and their people. They gave the humans small gifts, crystals that glowed with inner light and metal objects covered in beautiful patterns. In return, Jake gave them books, music, and samples of Earth art. As the aliens prepared to leave, Kylerin took Jake's hand in a strange gesture. This meeting will be remembered, Captain Morrison. Your species shows promise, despite your limitations. We hope to meet again, Jake replied. The aliens returned to their ship and departed, disappearing into space as quickly as they had come. Jake and his crew stood in the docking bay, still amazed by what had happened. Captain, this is incredible, Amy said. Wait until Earth hears about this. First contact with an alien race, Ryan added, will be in the history books. Lisa was quiet, checking her equipment. Something bothered her, but she could not say what. 3 hours after the aliens left, the troubles began. First, the lights in the corridor started flickering. Then the air recycling system made strange noises. When Lisa went to check the main computer, she found error messages appearing faster than she could read them. Captain, she called over the intercom, her voice tight with worry. We have big problems. Systems are failing all over the ship. Jake rushed to the engineering deck. The normally steady hum of the ship's engines was broken by odd sounds and vibrations. Warning lights flashed red across every control panel. What's happening, Lisa? Lisa's face was pale as she worked at her console. I don't know, sir. It's like the ship is falling apart from the inside. Every system I check has problems I've never seen before. Amy's voice came through the comm system, filled with panic. Captain, I can't send any messages to Earth. The communication array is completely dead. Ryan reported next. Sir, the navigation system is showing impossible readings. According to the computer, we're in 17 different places at the same time. Jake felt cold fear creep up his spine. How long do we have, Lisa? Lisa checked her readings again, hoping she was wrong. She was not. At this rate, complete system failure in 72 hours. After that, she did not need to finish. After that, they would die in the cold emptiness of space. Jake stared at the flashing warning lights, understanding filling his mind like ice water. The aliens had not come in peace. They had come to make sure the Independents would never return. Home to tell anyone about the Zephyrian Collective, they had been betrayed. The Independents drifted through space like a dying animal. Red warning lights flashed across every surface, and the ship groaned with sounds it had never made before. Jake Morrison gathered his crew in the main meeting room, but even this simple task was dangerous. The artificial gravity kept flickering on and off, making everyone hold tight to their chairs. Give me the full damage report, Jake said, trying to keep his voice calm. His crew needed to see strength, not fear. Lisa Bradley pulled up her datapad, her hands shaking slightly. Captain, it's worse than I first thought. The aliens didn't just break our systems. They planted some kind of devices throughout the ship. These things are eating our technology from the inside. Dr. Kevin Walsh, the ship's physicist, leaned forward. Kevin was a quiet man who usually stayed in his lab, but now his expertise was needed. I've been studying the energy readings, Captain. Whatever the aliens used, it's incredibly advanced. The devices seem to learn our systems and then turn them against us. Amy Turner looked up from her dead communication console. Sir, I've been thinking about what the aliens said to us. They kept talking about our limitations and basic approaches. I think they believed we were too primitive to understand their technology. Tony Garcia, the ship's mechanic, slammed his fist on the table. Tony was a big man with rough hands who could fix anything, but now he looked helpless. Those gray-skinned rats played us for fools. They smiled and shook our hands. While they were killing us, how much time do we have? Jake asked. Lisa checked her readings again. 68 hours until complete life support failure.